actually had a really interesting statement when we talked initially, when we were talking about setting up the podcast recording. You said all change is harm, which is a really powerful statement. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I know. People are like, what? I'm not harming anyone. So say I come over to your house and I give you $1,000. I take it out of my pocket and I give it to you. Yeah, right. Yeah. It sounds amazing. And then you're like, wait a minute. This is $1,000 in cash. Okay. So now I was going to record a new podcast. Instead of doing that, I have to find a place to secure this cash, or I have to get in my car and I have to drive to the bank, or I have to, how am I going to use this cash, right? This is random cash. Now I have to talk to my partner about, are we going to invest it? Yeah. Like, what are we going to do with this thing? So it's harm in that it is a psychological burden that did not exist when I didn't come to your door and give you $1,000. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you're going to get in a fight with your partner about that. I don't know if you're going to lose sleep tonight figuring out what you're going to do with this $1,000. Right? You could get a car crash on the way to the bank. Anything could happen because of this butterfly effect of my change. So on the surface, and this is what happens, right? Teachers come into the classroom, bosses come and say, hey, we're going to do this amazing thing. And I'm telling you that it's amazing. And instead of you feeling that this is amazing, you are feeling like there's another thing on my plate. Mm-hmm. And that's where the fight or flight comes in. It's just harm in that it's burdensome and disruptive.
One more thing to remember, one more thing to do.
One more thing to add to my list, my long list of things that I have to do. Yeah. And we see this a lot where there's a campaign to convince everyone of how awesome something is and how much they should be excited about it. Right. And that's poor change management communication, as opposed to meeting people where they actually are and transitioning them through the change, which is what change management and change management communication is supposed to do.
What you're saying is it's less about describing the future state. Hey, this is going to be so cool once you've learned this new technology. Don't worry about how hard it's going to be. And more about helping people cope with the change in the present.
Mm-hmm. So if they don't cope first, they're not going to move on to the future state. Mm-hmm. Actualization, right? Anyone who is bringing a change in, whether it's learning or any other change, they're already at the end of their change journey. So they've taken ownership over this thing. They're an expert. They're teaching it. They're a boss. They're the one who decided it. They're at the mm-hmm. end. And now they're communicating this and they're telling these other people who have no idea what they're even going to say that they should be excited about something. So until you acknowledge this disruption, until you do definitely want to show people what the future state looks like for them, but you have to show them how to get there as well. So you can't mm-hmm. say next year, you're going to be able to use everything you learned when you graduate, or you're going to get a promotion, or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, what happened this week?
There's
how do I apply this now? Yeah. So people, we don't want to be a future state daydream. We want to give people a very clear roadmap of behavior to move them through the transition process from this current state, right? We don't have a binary of current state, future state where you flip a switch. It is definitely a journey, even mm-hmm. with the very smallest, seemingly insignificant changes.
Did you learn something just now? Get the full episode of Ways We Learn wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're there, we'd love to get your rating or review.